Hi guys, my name is Allie and I'm so excited to finally be sitting down and making my first YouTube video. I've been wanting to do this for like 2 years, probably more, and I just haven't gotten the courage to do it, so I'm finally sitting down to do it for you. And finally, I have something to talk about. If you've seen my previous video, you've seen that it was a gender reveal, and that's because my husband and I are expecting not 1 or 2 babies, but 3 babies, triplets, which is insane. So my last video that I posted was our gender reveal. So considering our gender reveal video is already up, you could probably assume that I'm pretty far along already, which I am. I'm over 21 weeks right now, and I'm big. I'm really big. I'm probably the size of somebody that's expecting 1 baby at, I'd say, 8 months, which is okay with me. I'm just happy to be in this position right now. So I'm excited to be here. I'm excited that I'm finally using my YouTube channel, because usually I just use it to watch videos and my favorite YouTubers. But this will probably just be a pregnancy journey for my husband and I to look back on, and I'll probably talk a little bit about how I got here. My husband and I, it wasn't super easy for us to get pregnant. It took us about 2 years, and I found out that I have PCOS. It's not very bad, it's just mild, so I'm blessed in that sense. But it did still take us a long time. After a year and a half, we were seeking fertility treatment, and then even from that point on, it took us about 7 more months to get pregnant. So I am happy to be here and say that I am finally pregnant with 3 babies, and they're 3 healthy baby girls. And it's insane to even say that. It's insane to go from a family of 2 to a family of 5 within 9 months. It's crazy. But it's a good crazy, and a lot of people say 1 and done, and that's fine. People can have that opinion, and my opinion may change. But when you've tried so hard to have kids, I can't really say it is 1 and done. I'm excited to have a family and maybe even have more kids after that. So yeah, so I'll tell you a little bit of how I ended up getting pregnant. So after a year and a half, like I said, of trying to conceive naturally, probably like a year and a few months actually, I finally decided to seek fertility treatment. I went to my regular doctor, and he pretty much diagnosed me with PCOS. He never really told me the severity of it. He just looked at blood work and told me it seems like that's probably what I have. And then at that point I was referred to the fertility specialist. When I went, they were amazing right from the get-go. They were proactive with me. My doctor, even though I'm young, I'm 25, she knows that getting pregnant with PCOS, it's not impossible, but it's challenging and it's difficult, and there's a lot of ups and downs. You can get pregnant, but the chance of having a miscarriage is high, and that's really scary. So we tried a lot of different things. We did blood work just so she could confirm that it was PCOS. Like I said, it's just mild, so I'm lucky. And I started off the first 3 months, I did just medication, just letrozole, if you know what that is. Or if you don't know what that is, it really just helps you produce eggs so that, at least I think, it helps you produce eggs so that your body can ovulate and you have the eggs there, because a lot of times with PCOS, you have irregular ovulation, so you don't even know if you're producing any eggs or if you're ovulating, or if when you do ovulate, if your eggs are even big enough to become a mature follicle or egg. So I did the letrozole, and we were getting really great results. I was having multiple eggs every time, but still no success. The plan was to do the letrozole and still try to conceive naturally, and that did not work. I finally expressed to my doctor that we wanted to try it for 3 months. After the 3rd month, I told my doctor that at this point, I'm almost 26 years old. My insurance runs up soon because I'm blessed enough to be on my parents' insurance until I'm the age of 26. But if that means going for a more aggressive approach, then that's what I wanted to do. So the 4th month, we decided we were gonna do an IUI, an intrauterine insemination. So if you don't know what that is, I'm not gonna explain it, just Google it. But it's not very invasive. It's pretty much timing your ovulation and cleaning the semen so that you have only the best of the best. So we did that, and our first one was in April of 2016, and we did it with medication, and I produced 5 mature eggs. and unfortunately it was unsuccessful, which was really devastating for me because obviously fertility treatment, it's not, I mean, luckily I do have insurance, but if anyone has struggled with this in the past, you know that it's not cheap. But that's okay. It's not the money that bothered me. It was just, it's time that bothered me. So the one in April was unsuccessful. We went back in May to do our second IUI because the plan was to do 3 IUIs before even considering IVF. And even if it had gotten to that point, I can't say we would have done it. At least we still would not have done it because it does cost a significant amount of money. So anyway, in May we tried it again. And before you ever even do the IUI, you have to go in to make sure that your ovaries are clear and everything looks good. And unfortunately, I had a cyst on my ovary, which was not there before. And if you have a cyst, you can't continue. So May we had to skip, which was also devastating because again, that's more time that we can't spend trying to get pregnant or being pregnant. And so finally, June 2016, we had our last and final IUI, and it was unmedicated. They took me off the medication at that point because we realized that the problem was not that I could not make my own eggs, it was just that we didn't know when I ovulated. So all we did that month was a trigger shot, so we knew which is a shot you do in your stomach. It releases all of the eggs that you've produced, which I produced them naturally, like I said. And then that way, when you do the IUI, you know that the eggs are already there, which is pretty much what we did. We did the same thing in April, but this time we did it unmedicated. So we really didn't know what to expect, but I produced 4 mature eggs on my own, which was wonderful. So then I had to wait 2 weeks, which if you've been in my shoes, which I'm sure most of you have because of the title of this video, I don't think you would have clicked it otherwise. You know that the 2-week wait is probably the worst. So I remember my symptoms were really similar to me expecting my period. I actually even remember crying at my cousin's birthday. I felt so bad because I could just feel my period coming and I was so upset about it. And so the day that I was supposed to get my period, I was just waiting and waiting, literally just waiting for my period to come all day. It didn't come. That night I fell asleep and I woke up with this awful cramp. It was awful. I never get cramps like this. I get bad cramps, but this one was just different. So I woke up in the middle of the night expecting to go to the bathroom and have my period, and I didn't. So, and at this point my husband had no idea that I hadn't gotten my period because I was purposely trying not to even just talk about it. I just wanted to deal with it within myself. When I got it, then I would tell him. If I didn't get it, then I don't know. If I didn't get it, I was gonna do what I did. So the next day at work, I was talking to one of my coworkers about it because she knew what I was going through and she was really supportive. And she told me that I should go get a test. So she let me leave work early and I did. So I came home and I did it alone, but that's okay because obviously it was positive and that's amazing. So I was literally bursting at the seams. So I ended up driving to my husband's work because he works a lot. And I couldn't keep it in. I had to tell him when he was at work. And I wish I got a video, especially because I got him a GoPro as a distraction gift, because I feel like if I showed up with a card, he would have known. So I got him the GoPro as a congratulations for being promoted at your job. And then I had on the back of the card it said, by the way, you're going to be a daddy. So that's how I told him, and he was so excited. We were so excited. And but then, as you know, you don't see a heartbeat right away, so my first doctor's appointment wasn't for a few weeks after. So I went to the doctor when I was 7 weeks and 4 days, and they did the ultrasound, and it was not my regular doctor. She was busy, but they have to see you within, I guess, weeks 7 and 8 to just to like have a good idea. I guess timing is really important with that, with your first doctor's appointment. So I went to the doctor, they did the first ultrasound, and he said, well, I have bad news, and my heart literally dropped. But he said, it's actually triplets. And my mom was with me, and my husband Steve was with me, and we all were just silent. None of us said anything. And they measured them all three of them were measuring up to size. All three of them had a little flickering heartbeat, and the doctor advised me that he recommended that I got selective reduction. And selective reduction, I don't want to go too far into that either, but basically it's getting rid of one of the babies and keeping one or two to make their chances of survival higher. After I did my research, which I didn't even need to do research because I pretty much knew as soon as I left the doctor's office, there's no way I'm doing that. But after doing research, I realized that doing that, it really doesn't make the chances much better at all. It's like 3% or 4%. It's nothing major. They only do it in New York City. That would be the closest location to me, and I live in Florida, so that was not going to happen. And so then at that point, then I was recommended to a high-risk specialist who I'm seeing now, who is amazing. And she's on my team. She's completely on board. Triplets are born every single day. And I mean, I guess it's safe to assume that triplets are really high risk. Any multiples are high risk, but triplets are really high risk. And the fact that I'm 5'1", there's a direct correlation with height and how preterm you are. The biggest high risk with twins is something called twin-to-twin transfusion, where one twin takes more nutrients than the other, and one pretty much gets too much blood and one doesn't get enough. But as at this point in my pregnancy, like I said, I'm over 21 weeks and all three babies are measuring perfectly normal. One thing I didn't mention is that out of the three babies I have, they're considered di-tri triplets, which means that two of them are identical, one is fraternal. The two identicals, they do share a placenta, and the one fraternal has her own placenta and her own sac. The good thing about my identical twins is that even though they're identical and they share the same sac, they were split early enough that there's a membrane in between them. So with the membrane being in between them, it allows them to have their own sac, kind of, and it prevents their cords from tangling, which is another high risk if you have identical twins. So as of this point in my pregnancy, it's went really smoothly, knock on wood. I've had to put a lot of trust in God, which has really helped me. Every time I struggle or I'm having doubt, I always just say to myself or to God, I trust you, and it makes me feel a million times better. And it's true. And luckily I've been blessed, and my husband and I could not be more excited. Our nursery, it's not completed yet, but it's getting there. And as at this point, with triplets, they don't allow you to go any further than 36 weeks pregnant. So I already know my babies will be premature, and that's okay, because my doctor told me that twins and triplets, they will be born small, but they're like, as far as their organs, their heart, their lungs, they mature faster because they have to. So I'm praying to God that I don't go any sooner on my own, which is again a risk. But as of right now, things look really good. My cervix is nice and long, so I'm not at any risk for preterm labor right now. But things change day to day. So right now I'm counting my blessings, and I'm just so thankful that my 3 baby girls are kicking me so hard, and my belly is about to burst already, but that is okay. So yeah, I think I've updated you pretty much throughout my entire pregnancy. There's a lot of details I've left out. There's a lot more videos I could make regarding this, but I really just wanted to share my trying to conceive journey, the short version, and where I'm at now, the short version as well. And if anyone has any questions, you can comment down below, and I'd love to make more videos. It just depends on how awkward this one turns out, and if anyone wants to hear more of my story. I have put my Instagram down below, so if you just want to look at pictures and watch that way, you can definitely do that too. And either way, I'm going to try to keep posting. But for right now, it's November 2nd. My birthday is in a few days, and I decorate for Christmas obnoxiously early, so I'm going to spend the rest of my afternoon taking down my Halloween decorations and putting up my Christmas decorations, except for my tree, because I have to, of course, do that with my husband. But yeah, I'm really excited. So I'm gonna get this video up. I hope that you guys enjoyed it, and I hope to hear some feedback or any questions, and I'd be happy to answer them. Bye.